Meetings have been going great, and people are loving them. They're just really enthusiastic about the fellowship. There's a lot of people that came to our first one and have never missed one since.
There are a lot of people on this call. This is so fascinating.
Dorothy Buckler, and I have 16 horses. I know that's too many, but what can you do?
I heard about you guys through a Facebook ad, and just thought it was an awesome thing. And I'm always trying to share more about God and what he's doing for me anyway, so it fits in perfectly.
I'm actually in Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
Victor Mathis, charter member, mentoring with horses out of East Tennessee.
And so we've talked about having a name choice contest. So maybe we will.
Yeah.
He is a licker. You see him licking me?
It's a cool shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, I know, isn't it? I just got it this week. I ride mostly English, some hunter jumpers, dressage, trail riding, basically reliving my childhood.
And I think in order for us to be made in the image of a spirit, John says, God is spirit. Those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth.
And this is worth double points. How many horses did Solomon have? If you're ever wondering, hey, did I actually do that? If you just scroll down, it'll give you sort of a feed, kind of like on Facebook, of every single thing that you've done.
She would like to boss them around. You're right. Here's the one that stopped the truck.
I heard about it on Facebook, and I'm really excited to just share the love of Jesus and the love of horses.
Ranch patterns and trail riding, and just really enjoying horses with some really good people. So
I've got to get my show points going. I've got to get with that. And I love your shirt, but we need an English rider.
Yes, I'm going to talk about that.
And this is my first time on with you guys, and I'm not a member. I'm just learning about your group. So
all right. Well, welcome. Who's this?
This is the neediest cat in the world.
It's the biggest cat in the world, unless you are a very tiny person.
Gotten away from God a little bit, and I'm glad to I've been looking at your association for a few weeks and decided, kind of join the meeting and see how it all was. And you guys are very welcoming, so it's awesome.
We're very glad to have you.
We're glad you're here.
I got to have a little praise report. My phone notifies me, and we just had a new notice come across the top of my phone that we have a new member has signed up for the Christian Horse Show Association. And that's a thrill every time that happens. This association is going and growing, and God's hand's upon it, and the anointing is building. I think these Zoom meetings are really adding to the fellowship. This is not just an unknown organization that you read about online. These are real people who love God and horses just like you do.
So I'm in the prayer barn here at the Davis Ranch because I was able to put my phone on the stand so I don't have to hold it. And you can see a banner we have behind us. That's an old one from a long time ago. But anyway, this is where I preach on Sunday mornings, and our congregation is growing and our online outreach is growing. And if anybody wants to watch that, it's available on YouTube if you're not a friend of mine on Facebook. So it always goes live on Facebook, and then we transfer them to YouTube. And so the past couple of years worth of preaching is out there on YouTube that you can see if you search on YouTube for the Christian Horse Show Association. Then you can watch those messages, and we're on our way through the Bible, and that makes it easy for me. I don't have to think about, oh, gee, I wonder what I should preach about, which introduces me to a joke. A preacher said one time that somebody asked him, what are you going to preach against this morning? Like, are you going to preach against smoking, or are you going to preach against drinking, or what are you going to preach against? Well, he said, I'm not going to preach against anything. I'm going to preach for Jesus. And we do have to be careful preaching against certain types of sin. It's all sin, and we're set free from all of it in the name of Jesus. Anyway, so let's get into the Bible study, which is in 1 Timothy chapter 6. And I guess I'll go ahead and start with verse 3. And it makes an important point. And, we need to know what the Bible says. We need to know what the whole Bible says. So you can learn what the whole Bible says by reading the Bible. And you have to put some effort into it. So here's just one thing that I think is an important concept. What we're going to get to in a minute is that the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. So we're not supposed to love money. I jokingly say sometimes, okay, but it's all right to like it, but you're not supposed to love it. Okay, but it starts off with a concept that I just love in verse 3. If anyone teaches false doctrine as does not agree to the sound instruction of our Lord Jesus Christ and to godly teaching, he is conceited and understands nothing. So, what is sound doctrine? Well, it defines it right there in that sentence. It says, the teaching of the Lord Jesus Christ. So, Jesus is the unifying factor in all this. We all involved, and this is a line in my song. Wait till you hear that song. Everybody in this family loves Jesus and horses too. That's a line in the song. And so the Lord Jesus Christ brings us all together. We can agree on that. There may be doctrinal differences, and we're willing to agree to disagree, but Jesus Christ is something that we all agree on. So we shouldn't teach false doctrine. And so you got to be careful not to believe things that are too steeped in religion and ritualistic and demanding. Just serve God with a pure heart, and that's the bottom line. Love God, love your friends, love people. So moving on. He has an unhealthy interest in controversies and quarrels about words. And there are people that like to bring up controversial things and stir up arguments among people. But the Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers. We need to have peace and just try to get along and believe Jesus Christ is the Lord. That's the bottom line. Okay, so we shouldn't get into quarrels about words that result in envy, strife, malicious talk, evil suspicions, and constant friction between men of corrupt mind who have been robbed of the truth and who think that godliness is a means of financial gain. Okay, so one funny thing I like to say there is if you think godliness is a means of financial gain, then you haven't tried to make money being a preacher. It's hard to make money being a preacher. God will take care of you and meet your needs, but you're not going to have above and beyond usually until the ministry really gets going and you have an active congregation and a following, and then sometimes there is more finances to work with. Now, verse 6 is kind of a key phrase I want to focus on for a minute. But godliness with contentment is great gain. Isn't that an awesome concept? We need to be content and live our lives holy and know that that is the most pleasing way to live your life. It's the most pleasing to you. It's the most pleasing to God. It's where the richest blessings flow in the center of God's will. So godliness with contentment is great gain. And verse 7, for we brought nothing into this world and we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. And verse 9, people who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge men into ruin and destruction. Verse 10, for the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. So, one thing I want to say that I heard a preacher say years ago when I was a young Christian just learning about God, he said, is whatever you spend the most of your time thinking about is your God. That is what you're truly worshiping with your life. Okay, so keep in mind that many people spend a whole lot of their time thinking about money, how you can make more money. We have a greedy spirit can enter in, and you can always just be focused on making money, keeping your money. There is a proverb that says that a laborer's sleep is sweet, but a rich man's money allows him no rest. Meaning a rich man will lay awake at night afraid somebody's going to steal his money and worrying about how he can get more money, how he can keep the money he's got. So we got to be careful not to be too focused on money. God's our provider. He takes care of us. He meets our needs, and we need to relax in that area, knowing that he will always take care of you and provide for your needs. So, I was going to rehash that. Let's see. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. So, we should spend more of our time thinking about God. Some people can idolize a horse and spend all of your time thinking about a horse. But if we spend all of our time asking God to help us present this horse and train this horse and take good care of this horse, you're including God in the picture. So that's okay. As long as you remember to include God and ask for his help, then you're not excluding him. You're including him, involving him in everything that we do, which should be the way we live our lives. Remember to invite God to accompany you with whatever you're doing. And if you're engaged in showing a horse, let your light shine for Jesus and wear that Christian Horse Show Association logo. And one idea I have had, I believe is inspiration from the Lord, for one of maybe our T-shirts or a bumper sticker or something, has been a picture of a person showing a horse, and the slogan, the phrase would say, "Hide it under a bushel? No, let it shine." And that's what we want to do. If you're a Christian, you need to let your light shine for Jesus every way you can. And you can incorporate God and letting his light shine right along with showing horses. Amen. So that was our Bible study out of 1 Timothy chapter 6. Yes. Verses 3 all the way down to 10. We read a lot of scriptures there. All right.
The first two meetings we ever had were specifically just to train people on how to use the site. And everybody had so much fun at those meetings that we have been going for, I think, 65 weeks now straight.
Right.
So, we've had a meeting every single week, I think, with maybe the exception of one Thanksgiving or one Christmas. So we decided that as long as it seems to be a blessing to people, as long as people keep showing up, we'll keep having special speakers. Again, I mentioned Joe, who's here, is going to be our special speaker. I don't know if it's next week or the week after, but I will get with you. I know we were going back and forth about possibly having you as a speaker this week, but I got some stuff done, so I think it's better for us to get our training out of the way, and then that gives us a little bit more time to kind of promote you and your ministry as we get ready to have you as a speaker. So we'll talk after or next week and get you specifically on the schedule. All right, let me share my screen.
I can see it.
Oh, oops. All right. So once you come to the platform, you go to your account tab. Now, if it says your name up in the upper right-hand corner, you're already logged in, and you can just click on the member dashboard. You can just click on the member dashboard link right from the beginning. If you're not logged in, if you go to account, it will allow you to log in. I'm going to log out here really quick, so just so folks can see what that looks like. But so if I come here,
this is Jody Hatherley. I have a question because I don't have an account, and there's no button that says create an account. So how do I get an account?
Have you signed up as a member?
Yes, I paid membership fees. We got our shirt. But I don't have an account.
Okay, then what you would do is you click on the account button.
And I get in, username, password. Lost your password, but I don't get create an account.
Okay, well, you have an account. If you've placed an order, then you have an account. Okay. You just put in the email. Just click on lost your password. Put in the email you used when you created the order.
I have put in every email that I have, and it tells me that it doesn't exist.
Okay, well, let's do this. At the end, if you can hang out till the end, I will go look that up for you.
All right, fabulous. Thank you.
Okay, cool. And then for everybody, as I go through this, what I'd like to do is try to get through it all the way one time. And then that way we can have a video that folks can watch on how to use it. And then we'll answer questions at the end. And if specific people are having specific problems, we'll dig in and solve those. And I'll stay on as late as I need to make sure everybody gets their problem solved. So anyways, so click on my account. then click on login. You'll put in the email address that you placed your first order with, and your password. Again, if you need to reset your password, you can just click on lost your password. And that will bring you to your account page where you can also see some of the awesome, cool merch you can buy. Or you can go to our online store to do that from the front page. Then you click here for your member dashboard. And when you first come in, it'll show you what kind of membership you have, but your picture might be blank. So if you want to change your photo, you just click here to change your member photo and select the photo that you want to. You can upload a new photo from your PC, and then it'll load that in, and you can move it around. You can zoom in, kind of show exactly where you want it to be. Then you can save your changes. And it will have that photo as your profile photo now. The next thing that you will do is depending on what type of membership you have, if you have a standard membership, you'll have one nomination. If you have a lifetime membership, you'll have one nomination. If you have a family membership, you'll have 3 nominations. If you have a charter membership, you'll have, I think, 5 nominations. So I'm going to go through sort of setting up a nomination. So if you click here to set up your nomination, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to select a rider. Yourself will be, you will have your own self in there. And then you'll also have any other riders. You can add additional family members. So if you have a couple kids that are they don't need their own. If you have a family membership and you have a couple kids, you can give them their own nominations and set them up as riders. And so something about that, the way nominations work is each nomination is an individual horse and an individual rider that competes in a certain class based on age range or level, and then also breed of horse, which we'll talk about in a minute. There is another opportunity that we have that's called our Academy division, and I'll talk about that as it goes through. Some people might lease a horse at a barn, or they just take lessons at a barn, so they might be riding a different horse every single time. So we've created a division, or there's some actual horse events where they're called pickup events, where you just show up at the event and you ride whatever horse they give you. So for those cases, you can just enter as Academy. Now, Academy, again, we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But so let's say I want to add a new family member, and this is going to be Maggie Moon Pie, and this is my beagle's name. And you put in her email, her date of, and the date of birth. And then we'll call this other. Now, here's another thing too. If you're setting up, you can set up a trainer here too. A lot of people will have a trainer ride their horse. It's important to point out that if your trainer is competing on your horse, then the points that is still a 1-to-1, one horse, one rider nomination. So if you compete on your horse and your trainer competes on your horse, that's 2 separate nominations. Like, you cannot combine the points for both of those. But I'll set this as a trainer.
The term we use there is horse rider pair.
Horse rider pair, correct.
Now, the trainer and that horse is one horse and rider pair. The owner and that horse is another horse and rider pair.
Okay, the next step is you will choose a horse. And in the same way, so if you were riding the Academy division, you can just click, this button is going away as far as horse you lease or use, because we found that nobody actually uses that. We're just replacing that with the Academy division. You could just create a horse called Academy. The name of the horse is Academy, and the name of your division will be Academy division. So I'm going to add a new horse. And you give it sort of the barn name first. We'll call this Bosco the Brave. And I'm going to say he's so breed would be Academy again. If you're like, the name and breed would both be Academy if you're doing the Academy division. I eventually will make that a little bit easier, but for right now, this is the way we have to do it. Quarter horse, and we'll say he's Sorrel, and his foaling date was 01/01/2018. So that this information is required. The next step is this is all optional information. So if he's registered and you want to put in any of that information, you can do that. Or if you don't have it or don't care, you can skip it. Again, upload a photo. Okay, and then the final thing that you do, and this is very important, when you compete, you are you have to choose the level that you're competing at. So the levels that we have are Pee Wee, which is 11 and under as of January 1st that year, Youth, which is 12 to 18 as of January 1st this year. Non-pro is you have not received payment for training, showing, judging, or giving lessons within 5 years. Open to anybody. Senior is over 55 as of January 1st. My wife is pointing out that that would be me as of this year. Special needs, and then or the Academy division. So I'm going to select non-pro. Well, I guess if it was trainer, it would be open. And then the breed, I'm going to say this is a draft horse. So
I have a quick question. Is the Academy open to both youth and adult?
yes, the Academy is, there's just one division of Academy.
Okay.
It covers youth, adult, seniors, everybody.
Okay, great.
So we want to try it that way the first year because we don't want to add,
Right. Yeah.
400 saddles that Dave has to buy at the end of the year.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So until we get going, well, once we get going, and we have 100,000 members, then we'll buy saddles for all kinds of people. But as long as it's currently coming out of Dave's pocket, we have to be of that. And speaking of that, we're changing the rules slightly this year. That we'll have a meeting about this soon. Is that there has to be a certain number of competitors in your division breed category to qualify for a saddle or a buckle or stuff like that. So if we had some situations last year where there was only one person, competing in the category, and so it wasn't really fair to the other people that were competing. All right, so I'm going to save this nomination. And so now I have a nomination. So there's there's three things that you can do, but we'll talk about the third one last. The first thing that you can do is you can record activity. There's two types of activity that you can record. You can either record miles or minutes. You can't do them both at the same time. You can only do one or the other. But let's say I went for a trail ride at Big South Fork. I rode 22 miles. And then if you want to record something about it, maybe this is training notes or something that happened or whatever, you can do that. I could say saw some turkeys. If you want to add a picture, which we encourage people to add pictures because it gives us One, it just makes it more of a rich user experience, and eventually we'll do memories and stuff like that they do on Facebook, and we'll start posting some of these pictures that people post on the Facebook site and our Instagram page and things of that nature. So we do encourage you to add photos when you have them. They are not required to do that. Saw some turkeys. So now you can see you have total miles ridden. The other thing that you can do is you can just record activity. And so let's say I spent 45 minutes in the round pen and finally got a flying lead change. Yay. And I'm just going to say all done. I'm not going to add a photo for that. And now you can see that I have time logged and I have miles ridden. And then one thing I'd also like to point out is as you do all these things, you can, as you do all these things, you have like an activity feed of everything that you've done. And so, adding the horse, adding the rider, entering points, things of that nature. And if you mess up on something, so let's say, oh, I didn't mean to add that activity for that day, or I entered the minutes wrong. You can click down here. There's a very small button that says delete. And you can actually now, one of our new features is if you mess up, you can't go back and edit it, but you can remove it and do it over. So if you click on delete, it's going to say, hey, are you really sure you want to do this? And make sure that you're sure, because once you click OK, you can't go back. So I'm going to say OK. And then now you'll notice that I'm back down to 0 minutes because I don't have any riding activity on this horse. So the next thing that you're able to do is, and another thing about entering minutes and miles ridden is we do have 2 separate categories that we allow people to compete in for miles ridden and for most miles ridden and most minutes spent training. This is also a situation where it is outside of breed category, so we don't have a separate award for that we don't have a separate reward for that for every single level, but we do have an overall reward for that for each specific an overall reward for that for just on our members as a whole. And you'll see that when we get to the points here a little bit later.
For the academy riders, can they count like their time they spend in their lessons for their minutes spent?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. And any time that you spend working with your horse, training it, riding it, can be time that you record as activity.
Okay.
So I don't think shoveling stalls would count. Otherwise, I might be the winner of everything.
Yeah.
But if you're grooming your horse, brushing your horse, picking out feet, stuff like that, I think that all counts as time spent with your horse, because that technically is training your horse. All right. So the next thing is the ability to enter points. So the first thing that you do when you enter points is you have to choose an event. You will see, so you choose the state that your event is in, and then you choose the event that you want to enter the points for. So I'm going to choose Montana, and if I don't see my event here, it's interesting. Those pictures aren't okay. They might not have they may have not uploaded a picture for the event, but let's say I want to create an event, and this event is going to be well, I guess the event, if you're going to enter points for it, the event has to already have happened. So let's say this event was last week, and it's in Helena. And this is the Helena Rodeo Days. And we'll say it's a QHA event. If there's a URL for the event or a Facebook page or a Facebook event, you would put that link here, and then we need the contact information for the person that we need to contact to. This is usually the show secretary, because at some point that person will get an email to approve your points. So the next step, now, we also ask if you have a show bill for that event, which can either be a piece of paper that you take a picture with, or you can screenshot the Facebook event or something. We'd like to have that. So I'm going to upload a show bill. I'm going to use the Davis Ranch show event. And this one, you notice the other pictures were square. The show bills and the score sheets are kind of the size of a piece of paper, because that's generally the way that they're advertised. And you won't have to go through this because a lot of people add events and a lot of people go to the same shows. If one person adds an event, that event will show up for everybody. So you won't have to add an event every single time, especially, if you're part of a partner club or something like that, where they'll have their events up online, before you guys even get to them, because they'll be posting them in advance. So let's say I'm going to do Western, and I'm going to do Western Pleasure. You choose the category and the class. The different categories we have are in hand, Western, English, driving, trail, cattle events, speed events, games, team events, or other. And pretty much any event that you participate in, the criteria to be able to register points are: 1, there had to be an entry fee to get into the show or event. 2, they have to assign places. First, second, third, fourth, etc. There can be ties and stuff like that, but it can't be like just everybody participated, so everybody's first. Sometimes in our disabled category, that happens, but that's sort of a different thing. But let's say we want to do Western Pleasure, and then for each one of those events, we've got a bunch of different classes. If you don't see your class, you can always choose other and just enter it in the notes. But let's say a question that we get all the time, which is a new feature, is, there might be, in a show you go to, there might be 5 different Western Pleasure. There might be walk trot, there might be walk trot canter, there might be a class for one-eyed paint horses with one black sock that can only hop. You know what I mean? There's a crazy number of Western Pleasure classes. So what you can do is you can now enter multiple classes for a show, but if you enter the same thing, you have to have a note saying how it's different than the last one you entered. So you set the category, you set the class, then you select which place, which is basically just 1st through 8th. And the way our point system works is it's a combination of what place you got and how many people were completing in the class. So for example, if you were in first place and there were 7 or more people in the class, then you would get 7 points. If you got first place and there were only 2 people in the class, then you would just get 2 points. If you were in second, and we give points all the way down to 7th place. And so if you came in 7th and there were 10 people in the class, you would still get 1 point. Dave, can you let there's some people trying to join. Can you let those folks in?
Yes.
And so you set the place, you set the number of risers, and that will tell you and it'll tell you right here how many points based on that. So the first one that I'm going to do is just Western Pleasure. I'm going to save those points. You can also add another class. You can either just save the points, or if you have a photo of you at the show in that particular class that you want to keep for posterity, you can also do that. So let's say I'm going to do Western, and I'm going to do Western Pleasure again. Now, if I just try to do this, let's say I came in 3rd out of 6. Now, if I try to save this again, it's going to say, hey, you can't do that because you've already entered points. And we do this to keep people from accidentally repeating themselves. But what you can do is you can put in an additional description. Okay, and here's another thing, especially with dressage events. With some events, you will pay a fee for every single judge, and each individual judge will award you a separate place. If you are in a situation where you are paying a fee for each individual judge, whether it's dressage or Western Pleasure, stuff like that, you can enter those points for each individual judge. If you're in a situation where you just paid a fee to enter the class and there's 3 judges, then at that point you would take the composite score. Is it the composite or is it the best of?
Yeah, that's right. Composite.
You would take the composite score of those 3 judges and use that. And so let's say this would be the walk trot class.
Did you say Walmart?
I said walk trot.
Okay. Glad to hear it.
Walk trot for one-eyed paint horses.
No, that's too specific.
That's I've seen some crazy classes.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to add a photo on this one. So I've done that. And so I'm going to, now when you submit it for approval, if you submit for approval with no form, it's going to email the event organizer and they're going to have to approve your points. So what we recommend is at chsa.net/forms, you can download a form to bring to the show, have the show secretary sign it right there, and then upload the form, and then we can approve it for you. So for example, I've got a form here, a score sheet that was filled out. Oh, this is a good thing. So say one thing that you can do is, can you not rotate anymore? Interesting. You used to be able to rotate the photo. I'll have to look into that. Okay. Sometimes stuff gets upgraded and they take away the stuff that you were using. So when you upload it, if we ask that you just kind of zoom in to where we can actually see it, because it will crop it when you do that. And so now you can see I have points, I have miles, I don't have any time. And if I go down here to my feed, you can see I submitted my score sheet. You can see I entered points. And you can see I entered points for this as well. So now let's say I messed up on one of my points. Now you can also, in addition to being able to delete your activities, you can delete either individual points, or you can delete the entire score sheet. So if I go, okay, that was only, I entered that wrong, I didn't mean to do that, you can click delete. Are you sure? Make absolutely sure. And then I can say, okay. And now you can see instead of 8 points, I only have 4 points. Or if you say, hey, I totally messed up that whole thing and I want to do the whole thing over again, you can go down on the score sheet and you can click delete here. And this, when you do the score sheet, it will not only delete the score sheet, but if you've entered points in 10 classes, it'll delete all of those as well. So again, And if you call me and say, hey, I accidentally deleted this, can you put it back? The answer is no, because once you delete it, it's gone. So make absolutely sure that you want to delete stuff. And so that's how that works. The final thing that you can do, and because I've had people actually request this, if you have just completely messed everything up on your nomination and you want to completely start over, some people put the wrong horse, the wrong rider, and just they've screwed it up and they want to start over with that nomination. Down at the bottom where it says reset nomination, if you click on that, and again, this will permanently delete everything. Now, it won't delete the horse, it won't delete the rider. So you can still go put those back, but all of your points, all of your activity, all of your photos, except for the horse and rider, those will all be gone when you do that. So, and it will also reset it'll reset your category, it'll reset you're going to basically start completely over. So if you say, okay, once it refreshes, you can see that nomination is basically back to nothing, and you can start all the way over from scratch. So the last thing that you can do, the new feature, is now you can view your placings where you're at based on your division and breed. If you click on view placings, it will show you a report of everybody in that entire division and breed category. It'll show you, the rider, the horse. It'll show you their approved points, their unapproved points. And most of your points are going to say unapproved until the end of the year. And, because it takes time for people to get back and approve them. And, as we go through, so it's sorted by total points. So don't, if you look at it and go, why aren't my points aren't approved yet? Just until we get to the end of the year, you don't have to really worry about that. And a lot of times, we'll get people, they'll go back into the thing a month later and go, oh, I entered that. We had some things at the end of the year where after actually we announced awards, people were like, oh, I saw my points and realized I actually entered one show twice. And so we try to give people enough time because once your points are approved, I don't know. I don't think I guess we'll still let people delete approved points. Because I don't know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But technically, if your points are already approved, we wouldn't want to make somebody approve them twice. So we'll give some people some time to make sure that they're right before we go and approve them. So the first thing you're going to see is your points placings. If you have points, if you don't have any points, you won't see this screen. The next thing is your miles placings. Now, this is, again, this does not take into account breed or division. This is just one competition for everybody in the entire association. And so you can see where you're at based on miles. And then also if you have time, you will see that, so we can see Tom has got 45 miles in. Carly rides evidently constantly. She has 184 miles on one horse and 179 miles on another horse. So get your miles in, and then time. Same deal with time. It's across the entire association, and you can see everybody. If you want to really see who they are, you can click on the picture and you'll get a bigger picture. But then when you close it, you got to go back in because it'll bring you back to the dashboard. So that is how that works. The other thing I would point out is down at the bottom of every screen, you have sort of a full thing on events, and you can get links to the Cowboy Church, the Zoom meetings, stuff like that. One thing that we're going to do soon is we're going to actually make a list of all of our past Zoom meetings and put them on our Zoom page so people can find them a little bit easier rather than having to search for them on YouTube. And then you can go to our frequently asked questions, and you can also check out all of our t-shirts and other merch. Our As For Me and My Horse sweatshirts are when Jesus returned, he's riding a horse, or just any of your general CHSA merch that you want to get. So, and you can also get Dave's Intro to Trick Horse Training. That is actually a downloadable video. So we'll probably get some more of those up eventually as well. And if you are a lifetime member or a charter member, you get that for free along with your other merch that you get. So let me go back to the member dashboard here. So those are all the new features, and hopefully that will make it a lot easier for you guys and result in a lot less phone calls to me for people asking me to delete stuff that they messed up. So does anybody, so now I guess let's move in and we'll do some questions.
Richard, it's Louisa.
Okay.
My question is that if you delete a nomination, it is only for the current year. It does not go back and delete
Yeah,
all the
nomination every year you get a new set of nominations. Your nomination is only good for 1 year, so it doesn't affect your points. That nomination, you can only enter points and activity for the current year.
Okay.
And currently we don't have a way to, like, you can go back and see information about your past nominations if you scroll way down in your feed. But the you can but eventually we may give people a chance to look at their previous year stuff, but nobody's asking for it right now, and I have a lot of other stuff to build. So the next thing that I'm going to try to build is, a lot of people have wanted to they messed up something on entering a horse, so they want to be able to go back in and change the picture or adjust the name or stuff like that. So I'll probably give people the ability to edit their horses and riders next.
Richard?
Yes.
One more question. Sorry, Tom.
Sorry.
I haven't entered anything for the year yet because I was waiting for this training. I can go back and enter things that I wrote down, from the beginning of the year. Yes.
That is correct. Our policy, because we have so many people joining throughout the year, our policy has been you can enter everything if you join in December, and you can provide proof of all the shows that you've been in, you can enter everything for the entire year, even in December. Eventually, when we get thousands and thousands and thousands of members, which will hopefully be coming, possibly even this year, we might start doing some quarterly awards or something like that. But for right now, once a year is more than enough.
Richard, I also have a question regarding, when I first signed up, I signed up as non-competing, and then I bought 2 nominations last year.
Correct.
At the beginning of the year, I signed up as a competing member. So do I have 2 memberships now? And will the non-competing one renew in June?
Let me make a note on that to double check.
Yeah, see where I'm at with that. If I got to do something to get my.
If you go to your account,
okay,
and go to subscriptions.
Yeah, it shows that it's there.
So it shows 2 active subscriptions.
Yeah, one is active and one's says it will renew in the other one, the one that was a non-competing.
Okay, so what I would do is I would click on your non-competing subscription.
Okay.
And I would just cancel it.
All right.
So that way you won't get rebilled, because we are a lot of non-competing, and if you are a non-competing member, they will renew on the date that you started. If you signed up before today, we had an issue where those were renewing at $0. You still will get charged for it, but it'll probably be sometime next week. So if you don't want to get charged for your renewal, which we hope you do stick with us, because it helps us, make sure to go in and cancel it before that time.
All right, I'm just trying to figure it out, because I know I got the 2 nominations, and I'm just don't know how I got everything. Well, again, we'll figure it out. Thank you.
Yeah. And a lot of people will start, see, technically, if you're a non-competing membership and you buy a nomination, then you're sort of a competing member, but it still shows you as a non-competing member. But so it's just something we'll have to figure out. But and anyways, we'll have to figure it out. So,
alrighty. I'll see what happens when I put that in.
Not on the top of my list to figure.
I got you. It's not a big deal.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Hey,
Anybody else have questions?
Richard, yes, this is Destiny's mom.
Yep.
The one that has no computer sense at all.
Okay.
So the horse, we have her, it should have been Academy, but it's listed as Hoofprint Hill Horsemanship. That's where she does riding.
Okay.
Is there a way to change that to Academy?
Well, as long as, once you're able to edit your horse, you can do that. But as long as you chose Academy for your division and breed, then you're good to go.
Okay, I did that. Then mine, I think you were trying to work on it with Tom there, but we signed her up as a non-competing member in January, and now she's a competing member. How do I change that?
Well, because you bought a nomination, she technically is a competing member. But let me make a note to see, it's your subscription that you'll let me figure out because it's going to renew you as a non-competing. It's going to renew you as a non-competing member, and then you'll have to buy another nomination next year, which the price works out to be almost the same, but if you just sign up as a competing member, then you'll get another t-shirt.
And I haven't bought a nomination, so how do I do that?
You have not bought a nomination?
No.
Oh, it might be better just to sign up as a competing member then, because then you get another t-shirt.
Oh, so I cancel non-competing and do competing?
Yeah, because you don't have any nominations, correct?
Yeah, she has, let me see, account. Do I go into account or do I, yes.
Just go to your member dashboard.
Oops. Member, oh, thank you. My daughter's got to help me. It says you have one nomination for 2026.
Does it show that you're a non-competing member or standard member?
Yes, it shows non-competing member.
Okay, you must have bought a nomination then.
Okay.
Probably with Destiny's gift card winnings.
Oh, okay.
So, I still need to send out. I have a list of all the gift cards. I did the work of figuring out who needs to get the gift cards, but then I haven't sent them out yet because I wanted to get this done. So hopefully next week I will be able to send out the gift cards for the trivia contest, which people can use for nominations and memberships and things of that nature.
Is there, and then, so because it says nomination number 1192, so and it says I have one nomination.
Yes, then you evidently have, if you scroll down here in your feed, it will show you when that nomination was added. So my guess is you actually did purchase a nomination.
Okay. Then for
it'll look like that.
Oh. Okay. It'll look like that.
Yes.
Oh, there it is. I see it. Okay. And then so I logged in her minutes for writing of the weekend before and this past weekend. Can you go back and add notes or no?
You cannot add notes. If you really wanted to add the notes, you would just delete that activity and re-enter it.
Okay, I don't think I want to.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't, as long as you have the time, that's really what matters with I really want to see the notes in your feed.
Okay. Anything computer gives me gray hairs and I don't need any extra.
Okay.
Thank you, Richard, so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Let's move on to who was the one at the beginning that was having an issue logging in? Was that Miss Jody?
Yes, that's me.
All right. Let me get into your account here.
I'm guessing I must have typed the email address wrong.
That is not as uncommon as you would think. Did you get an email with your order confirmation or anything?
No, I got nothing. I got a T-shirt in the mail. We got our T-shirt that we chose. So I knew that everything must have gone through because I got a T-shirt, but I got nothing.
You probably typed your email in wrong.
That would explain why I can't find it. I knew it would be operator error. It always is operator error when I can't make it work. Me being the operator.
What do you guys are looking at my member dashboard, correct?
Yes.
Users. Is it Jody with an I?
Yes.
What's your last name?
HATHERLY.
I have JLHATHERLY at G. Here it is. It's not Gmail. You typed in GAMIL.
Gmail is spelled wrong. That would do it, wouldn't it?
Yes, but I believe I can fix that.
Awesome. Like I said,
right?
Yes, it is. Like I said, I knew it would be operator error. It's usually my fault.
We call that a PEBKEC error. Problem exists between keyboard and chair.
I like it.
I won't say the other one, but I know Tom is thinking it. All right. You want to go ahead and try to log in with that email address or reset your password? Here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna send you a reset link right now.
Okay.
And then tell me if you got you should get the email right away. Check your spam folder if you don't get it right away. While we're waiting on that, does anybody else have any questions or problems? Other than my beagle? Did you get the email?
I did not, and it's not in my spam either.
Try refreshing one more time. JLHATHERLY.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is. Got it now.
Had to go all the way out into space and come back. So
yeah, well, computers hate me, and so that doesn't surprise me.
My grandfather was a huge letter writer, and I'll remember the first time I taught him how to send an email, and he asked me, how long is it going to take to get there? And I told him it's already there, and it just blew his mind. All right, so go ahead and see if you can log in.
All right.
And it should prompt you to reset your password. I'm going to do some Beagle maintenance while you do that.
Okay.
They all still out.
No. She's a black dog. As far as I know. I mean, do that. Texas was in the sheep and follows around the lost property. Whatever Texas does, Dax like a foot away.
Yay, I have a member dashboard. Thank you, thank you.
Awesome. Great. Well, if nobody else has any issues, then we are going to conclude this training. And again, if you go to delete something, I will say this one more time, be absolutely sure that you want to delete it. Because if you call me and say, hey, I deleted something, can you get it back? The answer is going to be no. Because not because I'm mean, but because it violates the laws of physics. Okay. If you don't show, but you spend time writing and training, would you sign up as a non-competing member? You need to have a nomination to be able to keep track of your time spent. So I would just sign up as a competing member because you can also compete on time. You can compete on time spent and time riding or miles ridden as well. So I would do that, and it's only $10 more. And I think you've got a bunch of gift cards from winning trivia contests. So you should be able to do that. Miss Jam. Let's see. All right. Well, if nobody has anything else, thank you all for joining. And we will have a trivia contest next week. I'll try to get gift cards out, and hopefully everybody will enjoy the new functionality, and I can move on to getting our partner clubs going.
And we need to work on awards. We have some awards.
Yes, yeah, I do still have some awards that need to send out. That actually reminds me, I think I may get you the list for the Hodges stuff, for the trophies and stuff. And let you do that while I do the jackets.
Okay.
All right. Awesome.
I thank God for giving me a dream to keep me living right, to give my life a purpose so I can fight the good fight. Trying to be the best that I can keeps me on the right track. Now that I know that I've chosen the right way, I could never want to turn back. Now that I know that I've chosen the right way, I could never want to turn back. Jesus, I could never want to turn back.